Hello and welcome. Today's review is on the Metabo PowerMaxx BS12BLQ. The Q stands for the fact that you can take the chuck off and put different heads on. You can get this same drill as just a standard drill driver without the removable chuck, and you can also get it as a hammer drill without the removable chuck. I'll put the model numbers to those in right now. So this is a 2-speed drill. 500 RPMs and 1,650 RPMs. It's got 20 torque settings and a drill setting. 10mm chuck. I'm not sure the torque setting. The torque, 45 Newton meters of torque. Mine came with 2 amp hour batteries, but you can get 4 amp hour batteries for the 12 volt Metabo. And the Metabo CAS 12 volts are compatible with any other 12 volt CAS or CAS or cordless alliance system tools. That's the nice thing about Metabo, is there's a whole bunch of brands that take these same batteries. Maybe not so much the 12 volt, but definitely the 18 volt. So belt clip. I like the design of the belt clip, although it's not quite wide enough to be usable on, like, maybe you want to hang it on a hammer loop on a tool belt, but you can definitely hang it on just a normal belt. The bit holder, I like the design of the bit holder. Hold on. It just works like that. Definitely not the strongest bit holder in the world, but I like the design of it. There's just 2 magnets. One there, one there. And the nice thing that I want to point out about these the belt clip and the bit holder is they're put on with hex screws rather than Phillips screws. So you can put them on without worrying about stripping them. So yeah, the chuck is a 10mm chuck, and what's nice about this chuck is it's actually kind of smaller than other 10mm chucks. So since you got a nice compact 12 volt tool, you also have a nice compact 10mm chuck, so you can really get into the small spaces that a 12 volt a bigger chuck wouldn't be able to get into. The chuck is built really well, if you ask me. There's a lot of weight in this chuck, and actually a good third, if not half, the weight of the tool is this chuck. There's no brand name on it, it just says Metabo, so either Metabo is actually making this chuck or it's another brand with the Metabo name on it. But it's a good chuck. Hold on. It's a good chuck. Like, it opens really nice and it closes really nice. It's nice and smooth, and I like that it's smooth. And also it's really easy to tighten the bits. It's just, you just click it. It's not a ratcheting chuck. Then in here you have, this is a 1/4 inch hex. It's just a magnet, although it is a good magnet. And then these little bumps in here are for the offset head and also the angle head. The heads you can get for this, other than the standard chuck, you can also get an angled head, like a right angle head, and you can get an offset head. And you can also get a 1/4 inch hex head that has an ability to lock the bits in like an impact driver. But I only have the drill head because I don't really have a need for the other heads. So it's just a mechanical, what would you call this? Mechanical torque settings. And in case you're wondering how the chuck is held on, it's held on with 3 ball bearings. I don't know if you can, yeah, see, 3 ball bearings. and you just, to put it on, in the center there's a hex shaft that fits in this hex. That's the groove for the ball bearings. See, to put it on, you just pull the red thing forward, line it up with the hex, push it on, and it's on. Take it off, you just pull the red thing forward and pull it off. The clutch settings are nice. They have a nice click to them. And you got a little arrow there to tell you which one you're on. For 2-speed settings, as I said, that's first speed, 500 RPMs. Second speed, 1650 RPMs. And the nice thing about the 1650 is it drills faster. To me, 1500 RPMs is pretty much the bare minimum for a 12 volt, and 1750, 1800 RPMs is the bare minimum for an 18. So this is nice that it goes 1650 RPMs. And yes, there is a difference between 1650 and 1500 RPMs. So you got the forward and reverse switch there. And of course the lockout. Nice big forward and reverse switch. Doesn't stick out too much. The trigger, nice trigger. This whole tool just feels really nice in the hand. Like, it has a really good grip to it. The over molding is nice. The shape is nice. Like, it just feels really good in your hand. And it's not just a grip. The whole tool just feels really nice. It's smooth. It's quiet. So overall, this, I don't care what's inside or what parts it has. Overall, this to me is a great tool just because it feels good. So it's not too fat, as you can see. And it's not too long. I'll just grab a tape measure. So, from the end of the chuck to the, it's a little less than 16 centimeters. Don't know if you can see that. Just about 16 centimeters. And you got nice big air vents on it. Now this tool moves a lot of air, like I can feel it on my hand down here. Kind of doubles up as a sawdust blower, just being funny. But yeah, nice big air vents. It moves a lot of air, so it stays cool. Not that I use it enough to actually get it warm, because the most I'm ever doing with it are either countersinks or number 6, number 8, number 10 countersink bits. I tried using it for screw driving a bit, but I just prefer using an impact driver for driving screws. So on the back you have the Ultra M Technology logo. And then you have brushless printed into the overmolding. The light is down here. It stays on for about 5 seconds after you pull the trigger. And if you ask me, this is the best place to have a light on a drill. Well, the lights are on so you can't really see it, but it's a really good light. It lights up your workspace quite well. Not as good as, say, maybe the 3-mode DeWalt ones, but it's better than some of them. And then, now these batteries are a little different. They don't have squeezy things on the side or the front. There's no squeezy thing at all on the battery. You have to push that in to slide the battery off. And I personally kind of like that. These batteries fit really well. There's not too much wobble on there. But I kind of like how you push that to release the batteries, and how it's on the tool rather than on the batteries. Now these batteries don't have rubber overmolding on them, but the bigger 4 amp hour battery does have rubber overmolding. So the battery, 4 LEDs on the battery, and when there's only one LED and it's blinking, it means you need to charge the battery. Another way to tell you need to charge the battery is that the tool doesn't really turn and it doesn't turn on. That's the best way to tell if a tool needs to be charged or not. So 5 terminals, and these are nice big terminals. As you can see, all 5 of them are on the tool, and they are really big. And the specs are on the bottom here. So you can apparently drill 10 millimeters in metal and 25 millimeters in wood. I would imagine that that's probably on first speed with a paddle bit or a spade bit. And these air vents in the battery are because the bigger Metabo charger, the ASC 55 I believe it's called, has an air cooling system, so it blows air through the battery to keep it cool whilst it's charging. The battery's made well. It's pretty tough. These are just 3 18650 cell 2 amp hour batteries. But yeah, it's a nice tough little battery. Feels very robust. You have Metabo on the back there and Metabo on the front. And then you do have overmolding on the tool so that when you put it down and down here, so that when you put it down it doesn't scratch the surface. Of course, with the bit holder or the belt clip, the rubber down here is not going to really help you because it sits on the bit holder or belt clip. But you can always take that off if you are worried about it scratching a surface. I never work anywhere where it really matters if I scratch anything or not. But yeah, overall, this is a really nice little tool. Oh, and one other thing. Don't know if you can see in there. See, that's the thing that holds the battery in. There are 2 of them. So there's two clips that are holding the battery in. But it's a nice tool, feels good in the hand, has plenty of power. I'll demonstrate that in a minute. For a 12 volt tool, obviously, it's not got as much as an 18 volt tool, but for a 12 volt tool it has a pretty good amount of power. So yeah, I really like it. Now the Metabo 12 volt platform, it used to be on the stick battery, like the pod style battery, but they switched it to this slide pack a couple years ago. I like that. Thumbs up for the Metabo. I much prefer a slide pack lithium, a slide lithium pack to a pod style, just because it lets the handle be a lot thinner, and also you can put it down on its battery. Now this one is a little front heavy, but if you only have like something like that, it can definitely stand on its battery. But the 12 volt Metabo platform, they have a few tools. They have, other than the drills, they have an impact wrench, they have a little one-handed reciprocating saw, and like a little grinder and a rotary hammer and a couple other tools, and they seem to be adding new tools to their 12 volt platform every so often. So I think it's a pretty good platform to be invested in. And of course, the batteries, you can either get a 2 amp hour battery with 18650 cells, or you can get the I believe it's called LIHD battery, which is 4 amp hour with 21700 cells. So it would just be a little bigger than these 2 amp hours. But I don't think that the bigger battery matters on the Metabo. Like, I think on a drill like this, you're going to get the same power out of a 2 amp hour as a 4 amp hour. I could be wrong, but I remember hearing something about that. I don't have 4 amp hour batteries yet, and when I do get them, I might do a test on that just to see if there's a difference. Because I'm kind of planning on getting the 12 volt impact driver, just because I really like the grip on this one, so I want to see how the 12 volt impact driver is. But yeah, they keep on adding new tools every so often. And another thing about the Metabo, which is kind of like DeWalt or what's the other one? Fine, I think, is their 12 volt batteries are charged on the 18 volt charger. Like, if the charger that came with this drill can also do 18 volt batteries, and pretty much any as far as I know, any charger from Metabo can also do the 12 volt batteries, which I kind of like because you don't have to cart around more than one charger if you have both 18 volt and 12 volt tools. So I'll now show you how this drills holes. So I'm just gonna put in a couple of screws and drill a few holes. Battery is fully charged. Yes, the piece of wood already has holes in it, but I'll put the screws in where there aren't already holes. 4.5 by 50s. Torx drive. Bosch bit. So speed 2, drill mode. Pretty good if you ask me. Take it out. Speed 1. So this is now 500 RPM. Clutch setting 20. Clutch setting 15. Clutch setting 10. Almost drove it in. Clutch setting 7. Clutch setting 5. Clutch setting 1. So hold on, I'll just get a smaller screw to demonstrate that one on. Three and a half by 30 Torx drive screw. So it barely drives this screw in. Let me get a smaller screw. Four by 16. So if that clutch setting is important to you and you need to be very precise, this drill is pretty good. On clutch setting 1, it barely drives a 4 by 16 into pine. Put it up to clutch setting 3. Still didn't drive it all the way. 4. 5. 6. So on clutch setting 6. Yeah, still a bit proud. Clutch setting 7. There, flush. Perfect. Then I'll just put it on drill and I'll take out all of these screws. Pretty good. So now I'm just going to drill a few holes. Now for the most part, tapered bits, number 6, number 8, number 10, 3.3.5, 4, and 4.5 mil bits. Countersinks are what I drill most of the time. So 6mm DeWalt rapid load bit. That's speed 2. Countersink. Pretty good. Number 10. Number 10 countersink bit. And one thing I forgot to mention, because of the interchangeable heads, there is a little bit more play in the chuck than in a standard drill, but it is still a very smooth and sturdy chuck. Seeing not much movement there, and as you can see, it's no problem drilling these 4.5 mil number 10 tapered bits. So now I'll just drill in this piece of wood. I know that there are already holes in it, but I don't really have another piece of wood this big that I want to fill full of holes at the moment. So, hold on. We'll drill some brad point. Number 5 brad point bit. At least I think we're going to drill a number 5 brad point bit, because some of these brad point bits aren't. Yeah, too much wobble in that one. We'll start with a number 4 brad point bit. There's still a bit too much wobble, but anyway. Pretty good. For some reason, sometimes the chuck sort of just gets stuck, but you just have to tighten it and then loosen it, and it's fine. Number 6. No problem with the number 6. Number 8. And personally, if you ask me, this is pretty much the biggest I would go with a 12 volt before I'd grab my 18 volt. no problem doing it. Battery's at only 2 bars, so I've used up 2 bars of battery for all of that. But chances are I'll be back up to 3 bars in a minute. And the last hole I will drill, number 10 brad point bit, which has a much more aggressive design. This is the biggest bit you can get in this chuck. See? And yes, this bit is probably dull. So no problem doing that number 10 bit. I actually didn't expect it to do that well. 2 bars of battery. Now part of that is because I did it all in a row. If I let that sit for a few minutes, it might go back up to 3 bars. But yeah, nice drill. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Check out my Patreon, link is in the description, and I'll see you next time. So the case that mine came in is just a standard case. This is pretty much what all power tools used to come in before they started making the modular systems. So your charger goes here, drill goes here, spare battery, spare heads go here. I suppose something could go there. Nice case. It's fairly well made. Metal latches. Nice handle. The thing that I kind of like about another thing that I kind of like about Metabo, I just kind of like the Metabo cordless. We'll see if my opinion changes when I get more, but they give you this piece of plastic that goes over the battery and keeps dust out of the terminals and air vents. That used to be kind of just standard on all power tool batteries, but these days it doesn't seem like a lot of brands still do that. So I kind of like how they give you a cover for your spare battery so the dust doesn't get in the terminals. So this is the charger that I have. It's the SC30. It's not an air cooled, but it can do the 12 volt and 18 volt, and it can also do the LIHD as well as just the standard lithium. So it puts out 2.6 amps if you're charging 12 volt, and I think it's 1.3 amps, 1.5 amps if you're charging 18 volt. So to charge these 2 amp hour Metabo batteries shouldn't take more than about an hour with this charger. Although if you have the faster charger, these batteries should charge in like half an hour or something. 3.5 by 30s. Second speed. Drill setting. Not even pulling the trigger all the way.